Hello fellow YouTubers, it's Bass Fisher 0420 here with a very little review. No, I'm just kidding. A decent review about my swim baits. I decided to go ahead and make a swim bait show. So I'm going to go ahead and showcase a couple of the swim baits that I like to use out on the water to catch largemouth bass. The first one that's going to be up is actually these ones right here. I just got these for Christmas. Baby bass, boss shad, made by Bass Pro Shops. They're pretty heavy, especially when you're throwing them out there on the water. And they're not too bad, actually. Pretty good swimmers, especially because they got the little paddle tail right over there. And they are just extremely, extremely amazing. I would love to go ahead and take it out, but it's kind of a mess to put it back in. So, but look on the bright side. These are pretty heavy, and you can tell just by looking at them. That's always a plus right there. The heavier it is, the longer you're going to fling it out there, and the more water you're going to cover. So that's definitely an A++ in my book. Now, moving on. Over here, got a nice little Plano box. And we'll just have to wait and see what's inside. It's almost like opening a treasure chest. You just never know what you're going to find. And here we are. Swim baits. Multiple types of swim baits. Over here, we have this lovely little white shad made by Storm. But yeah, a little point of fact. I sharpen my hooks to a very finesse point. Sorry, I really like to make sure that the hook is pierced. And over here, we have another one. These nice little brown ones over here, they're pretty good. But they're also a little bit invisible. Although I have to admit, that color pattern does seem pretty interesting, don't it? Especially a little belly right at the bottom. That's gotta be an interesting color pattern. But when it comes to during the daytime, if you are to try to use this at nighttime, I actually made the biggest mistake of using this at nighttime, and it didn't exactly go as well. However, it did, on the other hand, get me a lot of weeds, actually, which I'm not exactly too fond or too proud of. This, on the other hand, might definitely be useful for nighttime, if I'm not mistaken. If it is, great. If it isn't, then we're just going to have to try and use it in the daytime. These little guys right here are just great, especially when you pair this up with a bait caster, you can toss it out there. These guys are definitely going to go ahead and float on top of the water. That's how lightweight they are, but they will definitely go the distance, which is pretty cool. And I like the way Storm makes these kinds of lures because they are just absolutely, absolutely amazing. Incredible stuff. And bass love crawdads. Yet for some strange and wacky reason, they just don't see these guys on the ground. And I know there's a lot of bass on the ground who would love to pick this one up. I know I would. Hey, where you going, little guy? Sorry, he's trying to get out. But he's gonna go ahead and take a nap with his brothers and sisters. Now, this we're covered up. Over here, we have what I like to call my little candy box. This is my little candy box of tricks. It's very impressive, especially the fact that every single shad I have over here, these are still in the experimental process. These right here and these right here are still in the experimental process. But these guys right here, these guys have never, ever let me down. I've caught a fish on every single one. Now, let me just go ahead and open up and show you exactly what I mean. I call this my candy box for a very good reason. Just take a good long look, man. Now, these right here are the very first ones I ever used. Nice little Storm blue shad, perfect for overcast weather. The first time I ever used this one in overcast weather, I got a good 1.5 pounds on it, on this one, and this little twin brother over there. And these are just amazing little shads. Tip, a little bit yellow. I decided to go ahead and try to paint those little clear tips a nice little chartreuse each flavor, and it actually worked. I experimented with it, and I just was completely shocked at what I saw, especially the fact that this little guy right here, especially after I painted the chartreuse flavor, which has a nice garlic scent to it, After painting, I was just jaw dropped at the results I got. It got me some pretty good fish. Now this one right over here is a fire tiger. Has produced some results, but I've only caught little ones on it. Great for clear water. And this little guy, he's actually no, not this one. This one right here is definitely a very good choice for when it comes to trying to fish in those very clear water. They'll see it. They'll see it by a mile. Don't get me wrong. But I'm still working on trying to see. This one little thing I have is called process of elimination, and I like to go ahead and just do multiple kinds of bait testing at once. That way I can go ahead and eliminate which ones are not going to work and which ones are definitely going to work. Right over here, this little guy, the storm shad. Storm has always been my favorite ones to use, especially for multiple kinds of baits. This little guy right here, it's a chartreuse back, and it's just absolutely amazing. I mean, this little guy right here actually caught me some pretty good ones, and especially during the afternoon. In the afternoon, when the sun is setting, when the water starts to get a little dark, it actually has provided me with some results. I went to Ryan Lakes one time, and I was just throwing all of my shots right over here, as you can see, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna get any results with these guys, so let me go ahead and try a little lighter. And I did. I decided to go ahead and try some lighter colors. Like this one right over here, and it just, I had one just explode on it, and it was just probably the best day ever. I got about two with the same one. Now, over here, these are wild shiner shads. These are wild shiner shads. This one right here caught me the probably one of the biggest bass of a lifetime. This one right here caught me a very nice one at 8 o'clock at night. It was pitch dark. I threw this one out there. It's got that nice little swirly tail too, to add some extra zing to it, as I like to say. And the insides are so lifelike, you can almost tell it's a real fish. And I had this 5.5 pound bass see it and absolutely explode on it. These two were my absolute lifesavers, and I am ever so grateful. I used this process the same night, and the results were just jaw-dropping. No doubt about it. The results were absolutely jaw-dropping, and I was so happy, especially with this kind of bait. So that concludes my little candy box, and now we're going to move on to our final stage. This is a nice little new box I got not so long ago, and what's inside? These nice little storm shads right over here. Yeah, I'm a big fan of storm swim baits because they're as real as it gets. This little guy right here definitely got me a pretty nice one. You'd be surprised. A big fish eating the smallest little worm. Before you know it, you got one on the line. I painted one of them. You can't really tell. You can't really tell because most of them all had the same exact color. But one of them I actually managed to paint their tail like a nice little chartreuse. And before you know it, just stuck out. Got the fish's attention. Boom. Over here, we got these nice little dark claws made by Storm, and these, they kind of look like watermelon to me. To me, they kind of look like a watermelon. What do you guys think? If you guys can tell me the color of this, I greatly appreciate it, but I think it looks like more like a dark colored watermelon. I would definitely try this for overcast conditions, or on just a real sunny day. Pretty awesome stuff. And now we're gonna go ahead and conclude with one of my personal favorites. This guy right here. This blue shad. Has a nice little yellow line right over there. I almost had one and he got off with this guy right here. He just stuck out. No doubt about it. But most important thing is I actually got to play with each of the baits individually, so that way I could go ahead and just make sure that I kind of get an idea of what they're feeding on. And once I do that, I just take it from there and whatever they're feeding on, I just give it to them for the rest of the night. But that's just a little quick review that I decided to go ahead and put up for YouTube. And look forward for more bass fishing videos every Thursday and Friday. This is Bass Fisher 0420. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a good night. Please feel free to rate and comment, and subscribe to my channel for more bass fishing videos. Alright, good night, guys.